There's no denying the success of Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan has created a legacy with this show, and we love to see it. Fans truly are being fed all this extra content. Not only do they get 5 seasons for the show itself, they're getting a spin-off series which just adds more depth to the story. Today we'll be focusing on 6666, or the 4 Sixes, so stay tuned to find out all the latest details. To begin with, we're more than excited about this new addition to the Yellowstone universe. We love that creator Taylor Sheridan just keeps expanding the story. Yellowstone has been a hit nationwide, and we love seeing extra content exploring the lives of our favorite cowboys. Well, there's definitely some good news for fans of the Western drama series. You're getting another spin-off series, and there's no doubt it's going to be as wonderful as the rest of them. Sheridan has unlocked the secret to making shows which keep the viewers hooked, and we know he won't disappoint us with 6666 either. In light of that, the entirety of the 4 Sixes is set up on a ranch that you've seen in the show before. The first time they introduced the 4 Sixes ranch to fans was in season 4, and with news about the new spin-off series hitting media outlets, fans are already expecting to uncover more details in Yellowstone season 5. Up next, here's all we know about the premise for 6666. With that out of the way, we know you must be wondering exactly what the 4 Sixes is going to be about. After all, it's a spin-off series, and there must be some focal theme to it. Well, worry not. We're here to spill all the beans for you. So, they showed us the 6666 ranch in season 4 of the show, and keeping that in mind, the main plot for the 4 Sixes will primarily focus on the history of this ranch. A Western drama series that incorporates some historical elements into it? Count us in. There's just something about diving deep into the history of a place, and we know with the genius of Taylor Sheridan, 6666 is going to execute that idea very flawlessly. In an official press release by Paramount Plus, the ranch in the 4 Sixes has a lot of history, so the show's all going to be about exploring the past. What's more, they also talked about the laws of nature and the rule of law merging together in the series. We have no idea how they'll connect the story with the story of the Duttons in the show, but despite all the vagueness, we know it's bound to be an excellent story. We just have to be patient until it comes out. Moving on, what's the deal with that title? Okay, so all the spin-off series we've had before bore the title of a year, but this time we've got a 4-digit number, and people are officially calling it the 4 Sixes. Now don't go on pronouncing it as 6666 or 6666 because we've already told you what's the right way of saying it. We're expecting the 4 Sixes to be a blend of both fiction and reality, and here's where some legend steps in. Samuel Burnett, one very famous American rancher, used to be the owner of the 4 Sixes ranch, and folks say that there's a story behind how he ended up being the owner of this lovely ranch. According to legend, he won the ranch in a card game with 4 sixes, but a lot of people have another story to tell about the number 6666. According to them, Burnett branded his first herd of cattle with this number, and that's how the ranch got its name. Well, whatever the reason behind it, we think it's pretty cool how Sheridan decided to explore the history of this ranch through a show. It's a fine way of telling a story and connecting it to real-life events. Now, for how long before we finally get to binge-watch the upcoming spin-off? There's not much news about the release of the series, but one thing that we know for sure is that we'll be seeing it hit the streaming services Paramount Network and Paramount Plus in 2023. Luckily, we'll only have to wait for a couple of months before we can watch it all. Good thing that they just released season 5 in November, and the spin-off series 1923 will be premiering on the 18th of December. Until the 4 Sixes comes out, we've got other Yellowstone content to feast on. If you're wondering how many episodes we'll get for the 4 Sixes, well, unfortunately, there's no information about that either, but some people are speculating it'll have 10 episodes. For now, let's just wait for when they make an announcement officially. Coming up, all the details about the casting announcements. Unfortunately, there hasn't been any official confirmation about the cast for the 4 Sixes, but there have been plenty of speculations, and we're going to share them all with you. Keeping in mind all the details from season 4, it's definite that we're going to see Jimmy as an important character on the 4 Sixes ranch. His character's played by Jefferson White, so you can expect him to be among the cast members for the 4 Sixes. If Jimmy's going to be there, you best believe they'll include his girlfriend, Emily, who's played by Catherine Kelly. So far, that's all we know. If we find any more casting announcements, we'll update you about them. Let's talk a little bit about the 4 Sixes ranch. The 4 Sixes merges actual history with certain fictional plot lines, but the existence of the ranch featured in the show is pretty real. The ranch was founded by Samuel Burnett, and we've already gone into detail about how the name for this place came about. For years, the ranch was passed down in the Burnett family, but then Burnett's great-granddaughter, Ann Winford, Taylor, passed away in 2020, and her will mentioned that she had decided to put up the property for sale at $341 million. And you won't believe it when we tell you who decided to buy it. It was none other than Taylor Sheridan. It's the first time the property's been sold in 150 years, and honestly, we're not surprised that Sheridan decided to buy it. This tiny detail just makes things even more interesting at this point. In light of that, we're even more excited to see how Sheridan will explore the history of this legendary ranch in his new show. Not to mention, creator Taylor Sheridan isn't coming slow with all of these spin-offs. Taylor Sheridan should be proud of creating such a memorable story in the form of Yellowstone, and the fact that he keeps adding all these extra storylines makes it even more engaging. In the past few years, we've had plenty of spin-off series about the show, and we love watching them because Sheridan truly is a genius storyteller. Sometimes it gets a bit too much keeping up with all the different timelines, but that's what adds more depth to the show, and we get such unique perspectives. Let's talk about some of the spin-off series we've been blessed with. First up, we had the prequel 1883. So in Yellowstone, our main characters are the Duttons, but for fans who are curious about how it all began, 1883 was a huge treat. We see a lot of drama in the parent show, so it was quite interesting to explore the history of this family in the prequel 1883. As you know, it all started in the 1800s, so it was pretty reasonable to name the prequel 1883. In the prequel, we get to follow the lives of James and Margaret Dutton, played by Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. They go through plenty of hardships as they move from one place to another and then, finally, to Montana. Next, they gave us 1883, the Bass Reeves story. After that, we had 1883, the Bass Reeves story. At first glance, this little addition to the spin-off series initially felt pretty out of place because it doesn't feature the Dutton family. Instead, it's going to be the story of one particular lawman from the Wild West, and yes, his name happens to be Bass Reeves. We do know that it draws inspiration from another Western classic, aka The Lone Ranger. There's no information about when this one will be released, but we're expecting it somewhere in 2023 or 2024, so we'll have to wait and see. Last but not least, there's all that excitement about 1923, and then of course, we're so looking forward to the release of 1923 on the 18th of December. It's just a couple of days away, and we're pretty excited to see Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, two very iconic Hollywood celebrities, take on the roles of Kara and Jacob Dutton. 1923 is, once again, going to be all about the Dutton family. It'll explore a whole new generation of Duttons and how things changed for them once they found power and influence in the lands of Montana. Because we're going to see Ford and Mirren together, a lot of fans are over the moon about this spin-off series. Only time will tell if it lives up to its hype. That's a wrap for this video. Are you excited about the release of the 4/6s? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.